Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing fine tonight and inside and staying warm and cozy tonight because it's kind of cold outside. Welcome to the Wednesday night gathering of Elmo Baptist Church, and friends and family. You're welcome, and we're glad you're here with us. Well, we're getting into the Christmas season, of course, and we showed these little books that we have on Sunday. We showed these little books. Your Christmas notebook. I wanted to show you some more pages in it. It's got a little devotional for every day, some Bible verses to read. It's got some activities in it as well. It's got some crossword puzzles. It's got some word find games, little matching things like this one. So a lot of fun things in here. So if you need one, let me know. Drop by the church. I know that Mike has some at the church. Then there's some little crossword puzzles. So there's lots of things in here to do. It's a good family activity. Any age can do it and enjoy it, but just one person can do it, and it doesn't take very long. So I hope you'll get one of those. Well, the theme of things, you hear our dog who's snoring. The theme of things this Christmas time is the waiting. We're waiting, aren't we? Advent season, we're waiting for the coming baby Jesus. We're waiting for Christmas Day. We're waiting. So when we're waiting, we have to do some things, don't we? We can't just sit and wait. You got to do some things. Keep yourself busy, but also building up that anticipation for what we're waiting for. So I've got some things to show you that I've made. They're not super exciting, but thought it might be something you might do. These were things that just inexpensive things that I've made. This is a part of a napkin that I tore off, and I put Mod Podge on an old, just a glass jar that was a candle that burned all the way down, and I got rid of the wax out of it. So a Mod Podge is part of the napkin on here, and I just put a little tree inside, just make it look kind of cute. I don't know. This can, it's just a normal soup can or vegetable can. I painted it, and then I took Mod Podge and I put another kind of napkin. I Mod Podged this napkin onto this can and put a little green tree in there. It's gonna fall down now. This can, it looks kind of rusty, doesn't it? But it's actually I painted it, and then I let it dry, and then I painted it over the paint with Mod Podge. And Mod Podge is this just like glue, basically. And then I sprinkled cinnamon on top of the wet Mod Podge. So if you smell the can, it smells really good too. It smells like cinnamon. But then you let it dry, and you shake off all the excess cinnamon, and then you can decorate it however you want to decorate it. I just put a little hair band thingy around there a while ago. But you can decorate it however you want to decorate it. So those are some things that you can do with some old cans. Just be careful when you open the cans. Make sure this at the top isn't very sharp, so you don't want to get any cuts on your hand. All right, so I love bags and gift bags at this time of year. It's so much fun to get a gift bag, a present in a gift bag, or at least I think it is. I like it. I think most people like it. So just go get you some gift bags. I got these was it Dollar Tree? I think we went to Dollar Tree. Mm-hmm. Get you some doilies. I got these at Dollar Tree as well. They have all different sizes. So I'm going to fold it in half, then I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to glue it to the top of my bag with my handy dandy glue stick. So I'm just going to take it and put it on my bag up here at the top. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's doily, so it's going to stick no matter what. And just press it down on there. And you can do the other side as well. But then you've got a homemade little gift bag. cute idea. And so you can do that pretty cheaply too, instead of buying a fancy gift bag. But I think that's kind of a cute idea.
Mm-hmm.
But those are some ideas that you can use to keep yourself busy while we are waiting in anticipation of the birth of Jesus this Christmas time. And I know while you're waiting for all those little presents that you're going to get as well. So I hope you'll have a good time waiting and doing some crafty things, making some things that you can give away, because it's 'tis the season to give away things. All right, let's do some singing.
I'd have you stay there for a second. All right, takes us a second to get adjusted here. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Good to have you with us tonight. Have our boring background because it's dark and
Can't see the deer.
can't see the deer, but they've been out. They like the house, the front yard, like 2 houses down for some reason. I don't know if they put out corn or something in their front yard. We're glad to have you. Brenda's going to come over here and we're going to sing as we think about waiting. Our theme has been, I've got a graphic. And Sunday we had planned on being in church originally and then decided to cancel this past Sunday and then this coming Sunday in person, and see how it goes after that. But the graphic that we're using, wait for it. Can you see it? Wait for it. Out of Scrabble tiles. And then, can you see the bottom one is the waiting is the hardest part. And I really like this graphic for it because it's like you're in the woods and it's dark, but you see the Star of Bethlehem in the distance. And it kind of just reminded me of where we are right now in the world, where we're just in the middle of some messes and it's kind of dark. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and we've got miles to go before we sleep, right? So let's think about that tonight as we think about the way we came up with a little medley. We're going to start with the Tom Petty song. I don't know if you've heard this one or not, but we'll just kind of sing the chorus. I don't even know if it's at a good key for us. season of waiting. Advent is a word that means arrival or coming. And so we're looking forward to celebrating the arrival of the Christ child and always looking forward to his return. You got the cord there. So it's December 2nd. So welcome to December, everybody. I hope you're doing okay. Sunday we lit the... Our dog is snoring just like 3 feet away. Oh gosh, that'll keep things interesting. You may have to do her like you do me and just give the old elbow. Sunday we lit the first candle of Advent. Typically that's the hope candle. As we met virtually, we lit a candle there. And again, we will meet online only this Sunday as well, and then evaluate what we should do after that. But I hope that you are encouraged, and I hope you are strengthened by our time together online, whether it's Sunday morning or Wednesday nights. We're so thrilled when we get to do the Sunday mornings at the Winstead's house, and my in-laws there with us, Brenda's mom and dad. We really enjoy that time together. But I hope that you feel God's presence whenever we do this, because he is present. He is in our midst here and wherever you're watching. Whenever you're watching, he is with us, and we want to worship him. And I may ramble tonight. On Wednesday nights as we talk, I'll use some different images and word pictures, but I hope it's a meaningful time. As we talk about tonight, I want us to look at waiting when God seems silent. Waiting when God seems silent. And I want you to know, folks, that we are going to get through this. It's not going to be easy, as we know. It's not going to be quick, as we know. But we're going to get through this pandemic. And, we're talking about waiting, and they're talking about a vaccine. We're waiting on a vaccine. We're waiting until we can get vaccinated or get through this so that we can meet together and that life can get back to a normal, or, as we say, sometimes a new normal. But I read today out of 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 8 and 9, and I kind of chuckled as I read it. It says, "But do not ignore this one fact, beloved, that with the Lord 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like 1 day." And it says, "The Lord is not slow about his promise, as some think of slowness, but is patient with you, not wanting any to perish, but all to come to repentance." Seems like sometimes that the days go by really slowly for some who are stuck inside, who may not see another person, have interaction with another person physically. So we're talking about waiting and how we can view it, how we can frame that during this particular Advent season. So our theme, as we talked about, was with the graphic, wait for it, and then the waiting is the hardest part. So I'm going to use both of those as we go through this series. We said Sunday that the waiting can be the hardest part, and none of us like to wait in today's world, especially now when there are so many day-to-day things that seem to be disrupted from the way we did them in the past. We're waiting for this pandemic to be over and things to get back to normal. And as we talk about waiting, in the most positive sense, waiting is not just sitting around when God tells us to wait. It's not just sit there and wait until he automatically does something and mechanically moves us, but we are waiting for something to come to completion or to fruition during the Advent season. Actively waiting, actively working. Waiting is hard in a good way sometimes. I think about kids at Christmas. So tough as a kid when you're looking forward to Christmas morning and all the things that happen around Christmas Day. That's hard to wait, but it's a good waiting, right? I remember this is a weird memory, but one of the first times I got to go to a Cardinals game was with my brother. He played on a softball team in the league, and they won the league. I was their bat boy. We got to go, and they took me along to a Cardinals game. That was part of what the champions received, tickets to a Cardinals game and recognition at the game. And I was so excited about that. And I remember praying the night before, Lord, help me not to die tonight before I get to go and see the Cardinals. You know, we have that weird prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to keep, to take. Funny, kind of a dark but positive message, I guess, there. But waiting can be the best part. There's that Carly Simon song, Anticipation. Anticipation. And the last line of that song says, and stay right here because these are the good old days. A lot of people long for those good old days of the past, but these are the good old days if we will frame it. And I know there's tough things that are happening and people that have lost their lives because of the pandemic, and a lot of things have been disrupted, but we can still make good memories as we go through this. Advent waiting is anticipation. The anticipation, the preparation, looking forward to can be the best part. The memory, Brenda and I use the little phrase, and I say this all the time, that the memory of this event is going to be way better than the actual thing. What are we going to say when we look back at 2020? I'll have a lot of bad things to say about certain things. I remember my mom talking about the Depression. My mom was born in 1920, passed away in 2009. But during the time of the Depression, she was 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And she had a lot of memories about those tough days, hard stuff that they went through. But there were very meaningful family things that she talked about. Homemade Christmas gifts. The meals they had, meager kind of meals sometimes, but the memories that she hung up onto all her life were very meaningful to her and to all of us that heard them. We're always making memories. The question is, what kind of memories are we making? So, waiting can also be the scariest part, right? We talked about that Sunday, waiting for test results, medical tests, or a word about someone in surgery. Waiting can take the form of hiding in fear. And I want to talk about waiting when God seems silent, just for the next few minutes. I was looking through some old Easter week sermons about the Saturday of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Good Friday, Silent Saturday, Resurrection Sunday. I did a sermon on what waiting through that Sunday must have been like for those first believers. And in my notes I put, God's silence doesn't mean his absence. That's what faith is all about, isn't it? That we relate to God in faith. And his silence doesn't mean his absence. We are to walk in faith, even though we may not hear his voice, we may not feel him sometimes, we may not see him, but his silence doesn't mean his absence. Just because you can't hear or see God, that doesn't negate his presence and his active work behind the scenes. We base our faith on who we know and what we know about him, not on what we're seeing or feeling at that moment. In the middle of our waiting, sometimes it feels like God is silent. You know, there are like 400 years in between the Old Testament and the New Testament, the intertestamental period, where we say there was not a word from God through the prophets, but God was still active. We know there were many things that were going on. God was still there speaking to people. There's a thing called the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament scriptures. That was done in the 200 BC. area. So there were a lot of things going on, but God acts in the silence. In the Easter story, Jesus is silent on Saturday. Jesus is dead. Jesus' body is in Joseph of Arimathea's tomb. He spoke on Friday, and he's going to defeat death on Sunday. But on Saturday, Jesus is silent, and so is God. God made himself heard on Friday, didn't he? He tore the curtains of the temple. He blocked the sun in the sky. He allowed his son to die. Earth heard much from God on Friday, but nothing on Saturday. There's silence. Jesus is silent. God is silent. Saturday is silent. It's Saturday, but Sunday's coming, right? So what do you do on that in-between time when you feel like God is silent? A lot of things happening, a lot of bad things happening. God, what are you doing through all this? What are you wanting to say? What do you do in that in-between time? You do what Jesus did. Literally, not literally, but figuratively, you lie still, you trust God. Jesus died with this conviction that we read about in Acts 2, that you will not abandon me, God, to the grave, nor will you let your Holy One see decay. Jesus knew God wouldn't leave him alone in the grave, and we need to know that God will not leave us alone. So for all of you who are feeling lonely and abandoned, maybe hurt, whatever you're feeling tonight, his silence is not his absence. What do you do on Saturday? According to the scriptures, it's a third day story, right? So hang tight in between. Here's one of those illustrations that I was talking about earlier that seems kind of weird, but I want you to get it. You think of the circus or a carnival and the trapeze artists who are on the flying trapeze, those swings that go back and forth, and then one person flies through the air and is caught by another person. Think of the guy on the trapeze who's let go of one bar, and he's waiting to be caught, but he has not yet been caught. Henry Nouwen writes about that as a picture of what our faith is, what it's supposed to be. He says there are two kinds of trapeze artists. He says there are flyers, and those are the guys who let go and fly through the air, and then there are the catchers. The flyer in the carnival told Henry Nouwen one time, he said, people think the flyers are the stars because of what they're doing, the somersaults and everything in the air, and it looks cool, but the real star is the catcher. A flyer has to fly, a catcher has to catch. The flyer must trust with outstretched arms that the catcher will be there waiting for him. And that's faith. God will catch us. Tom Petty has two other songs. We're not going to sing them because we butchered it. But one of them is Free Fallin'. You know that one? Sometimes we feel like we're free falling, like we jump out of an airplane without a parachute, another illustration. Just falling, and where are we going to land? And then he's got another song that's kind of answers that whole dilemma. It's called Learning to Fly. Learning to fly. God's there to catch us. He does the work. So when we're waiting, when God seems to be silent, we're not free falling. We're learning to fly. So with that, I thought about birds. You know, some birds fly by frantically flapping their wings, and then you see the birds that glide and sail through the air. And, you know, something that's gliding looks beautiful, but it eventually comes down to the ground because of gravity, you know. But then some birds are made to soar, like eagles and other birds, and they'll catch the thermal updrafts, and they can stay in the air indefinitely. So I'm going to reference another song just to close this out today. God is the wind beneath our wings. God holds us up. We may not hear God in the same way that we've heard him before, but we are to relate to him in faith during this time. God will get us through. God will make a way when there seems to be no way. So I hope this encourages you tonight. We've got some prayer requests. I'm going to just read through some of these, and forgive me if I leave out something that I should mention. But we want to remember the family of Bob and Wendy Hamill. I don't know them, but I've heard a lot of good things about them. They died a day apart from each other. We want to remember the family of Abby Jansen, who is that 17-year-old girl that died in the car accident on 55 right outside of Kelso. We need to pray for Karen Van Els, who has COVID, and Ted has the same symptoms and thinks that he may have it too. Leandra lost her dad, Kenny Casu, passed away this week, and so pray for Leandra Allen and her family. We've been praying for Jordan Cox, Betty Cox's grandson. He's out of the hospital. I don't know that they've pinpointed why he had such bad headaches, but he is getting some relief. I think got some heavy-duty meds for that. Continue to pray for Delilah's dad, Bill, who has COVID. He's in a nursing home in Sykeston. Other folks in our church have family members. Most all of us know somebody, and many of us have family members who have COVID. We want to pray for them. We've been praying for Paul Cummins, that many of you know, and he is out of the hospital, but he's got some health issues, pneumonia, and so we want to pray for him. My brother Larry in Springfield is having some heart issues and may have to have a pacemaker put in, and he's had a lot of different health issues along the way, and would you pray for my brother Larry? I believe Robert and Tina Cobb, that Robert's mom passed away a couple of weeks ago. We want to remember that family. We've been praying for Robin Morton's son-in-law, Josh, his wife Heather, and Josh has some significant health issues, and so continue to pray for him. We've been praying for Wanda Gately and to get pain relief for her back. Been praying for Cheryl Jones and Wally, and I know they look in on our broadcast on a regular basis. Chris Young, Marshall's brother, who had surgery on his elbow, I think. We need to continue to pray for him. And everybody else that needs prayer. Let me close this with a word of prayer. And Lord, I just lift all these up to you, and we believe in prayer, and your word in so many places says that we should wait on you. But that is not to be our excuse not to do anything. To say, well, I'm just waiting on the Lord, and when he tells me to do something, I'll do it. But you have told us so many things that we are to be and to do. So may we have no excuses to do that, and show us what particular things that you have called us to do to minister. Thank you for this church family. Thank you for the ministry that's going on, in spite of the fact that we're not gathering all the time on Sundays in person, but you're using different folks to minister. Thank you for all those who are helping with Meals on Wheels this week. Lord, bless our giving as we are not together in person. Help our giving to hold up, and for us to meet the needs and obligations that we have as a church. Thank you for the faithfulness and giving of church members and friends from all over for that. Again, bless all these who have special needs, health needs. Comfort those who are in sorrow. Guide us in the days to come. Help this month be a wonderful time of waiting and celebrating and preparing our hearts, preparing our minds, focusing on other people more than ourselves. And so thank you for this time together, and for everybody who is tuning in at whatever time. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for your presence. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, we'll close with that. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you Sunday morning at 10:55 online. and look forward to that. So God bless you.